All right, we are back with the second half of our One Piece tier list. This is characters, by the way. Now, I want to make it clear that I'm ranking these characters based on how compelling I think their stories are. Not power level, not how long they're in the show, none of that. This is all based on how interesting I find their stories, either how interesting they have been or how interesting I think they could be. So some of these are based on potential that we haven't seen yet, but I just want to make that clear. So, and if you haven't watched part one, go back and watch part one because we went through the first half of the alphabet in part one. So that video is already up on YouTube if you want to check that out. Of course, if you're watching this on YouTube, you can just go find it there. This time, we are going to go through the back half, so N through Z. And without further ado, we're going to get right into it. So just remember, this is based on how compelling I find their stories. We have everyone's favorite navigator and my personal favorite Straw Hat, Nami. Now, Nami is an easy S tier character for me, and let me tell you why. I'm sure some of you are sitting at home thinking, oh, yes, there's two obvious reasons that Nami is in the S tier for you. No, that does play a role. I won't lie to you, but I find Nami to be one of the most compelling Straw Hats. Number one, her backstory to me is incredibly tragic, where we've talked about Bellemere, but just to rehash it a little bit, she is adopted by Bellemere, raised by Bellemere, and then in Bellemere's last act of her life, refuses to deny Nami as her daughter, which ends up being the reason that Arlong kills Bellemere. Now, that part in Arlong Park is incredibly important to the story because we get to learn why Nami hates the pirates. We learn that she's taken on this gigantic burden as a 10-year-old to buy back her village and save everyone. So I think Nami is easily an S tier character. She is my favorite Straw Hat. Now, some of you may think, oh, well, she doesn't fight. She doesn't fight. She doesn't get any of the big fights. That is true. She gets a few here and there, but mostly Nami's fights are with the ocean. She's the navigator. She's there to get them out of tight spots. I find ocean navigation to be incredibly interesting. Like, how the hell do you get on a boat and you look up in the stars and you're like, oh, I know which way to go now? Or, oh, I can tell the weather's changing. We need to go this way. Like, all that stuff super interesting to me. Also, I like the fact that she is not a damsel in distress a lot of the times. Sure, there are situations where that arises, but she is able to hold her own on the crew with the likes of Luffy, Zoro, and Sanji. She's able to absolutely beat them over the head if they need it. And I find that very interesting because she fits with the crew. She's not just like, oh, we have a woman here and she's, lovesick over one of the crew members or, whatever. She is just as much of a pirate as any of the rest of the crew. And I think she's really well written. And I just love Nami. I could talk about her all day, but I won't belabor the point. I think Nami is an S tier character, and I think she is about as interesting. I think she's more interesting than Arlong. I would put Nami there as far as compelling goes. Now, power-wise, of course, Nami's not in the S tier, but that's not what the tier list is about. So, all right. Next, we have Neptune. Neptune is the king of Fishman Island. I don't love Fishman Island. I really don't. But I think Neptune is about as interesting as his sons. I would put him a little more interesting than Fugaboshi, but marginal. I'd put him in the B tier, and that's about it. Okay, Nezumi, this is I don't know if he's a captain. He's definitely not like a vice admiral or anything crazy like that. Lieutenant, sergeant, I don't know. This is one of the Marine goons, the one that comes to Arlong, and this is the guy Arlong like gives the money to, gives all of Nami's, or tells where all of Nami's money is so that this guy can go rob Nami. And I forgot the hat. My deepest apologies. So this is the guy who does all that. He sucks. He's boring. I don't like him. The most interesting thing about him is that he's with Arlong. I don't think he ever comes up again. I would honestly put this fool in the D tier. Hell, I'm gonna put him below Mr. 9. I don't like this guy. where he does stuff that I don't like, which is not the whole reason he's here. Because obviously, with Blackbeard being up here, Akainu, like I don't like these people, but their stories are interesting. This guy serves no purpose except to force Nami to have to do something about Arlong. So Arlong is far more interesting to me than Nezumi, but regardless. Okay, Nico Olivia to me is in the A tier. This is Robin's mom. She is on. I always forget the name of their. I always forget the name of their damn city or country. What is it called? Where is. Ohara. I always forget Ohara. Yes. So Nico Olivia is Robin's mom. She's from Ohara. She's obviously one of the archaeologists. We get some good backstory with her and Robin at this point. I find her pretty interesting. Um, she's certainly more interesting than Khalifa. More interesting than Buggy. I would put her around Correja, unless I'm missing something huge, which is possible, but I don't think so. So yeah, let's just make sure I haven't missed anything crazy. Yes, she dies in the Buster Call. Okay, yeah, that's about what I thought. So I like Robin's mom. I think she's very interesting, but you know, okay. If Nami is an S tier character, Robin is also an S tier character. No, 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 no. We are not putting Robin. Where did I just put her? She is not in the C tier. Robin is one of the most interesting characters in the show. I think she's more interesting than Nami. I like Nami better, but I think Robin is more interesting. I would put Robin all the way up ahead of Doflamingo as far as interesting goes. Now remember, we meet Robin, and Crocodile's not on this list for some reason. I don't know why. I was trying to think maybe he's known by another name, but like that doesn't make sense. Oh, he is. He's Sir Crocodile. Okay, we'll get to him then. We first meet Robin with Crocodile in Alabasta. She's Miss All Sunday, her best fit, by the way, hands down, Miss All Sunday. But regardless, she is his right hand woman. They're running Baroque Works, taking down or trying to have the revolution in Alabasta. Luffy saves her life. We learn that she can read the poneglyphs. I think this is where we learn about the poneglyphs as well in Alabasta. Obviously, Robin joins the crew. We get so much from her in Water 7 and Enies Lobby when she's taken captive by Rob Lucci and his morons. And we get the great scene at Enies Lobby when she is decided that she just needs to die because she's putting all the people she cares about at risk, i.e., the rest of the Straw Hats. And Luffy and the crew roll up and they're like, no, no, no. You're part of the crew. We're saving you. And we get the great moment where Luffy won't go to save Robin until Robin tells him that she wants to live. We get the great scene where Robin screams out over Enies Lobby that she wants to live. And Robin is super important to the crew. She can read the poneglyphs. Those are going to be very important moving forward, I assume. I have an issue with how they've been handling her lately. Same with Nami. I just feel like they haven't had a ton to do. Although Robin did just have the fight with Black Maria and Wano, so maybe she's had a little more to do. But I feel like they're being a little underutilized lately. But we'll hold out hope that they get some more. So I think Robin's easily an S tier character. Okay, Niji, all the three brothers to me, but like they're interesting, but not that interesting. Well, I don't know. I take that back. They're pretty interesting. I like the fact again, same thing that I said about where's each. I'm just gonna keep them together. They're all about the same, compelling wise to me. They're part of Jerema Double Six. Of course, they're cyborgs and hated Sanji at the beginning. Now they're softening on him. So I don't know what else to say about him. I think they're fine. I don't even know where we were. Uh, where did we put? Does anybody remember the last one we did? Was it Robin's mom? Maybe. Uh, ish. I think that worked, but okay. Yeah, maybe that was the last one we did. I don't remember. No, Robin would have been the last one we did. Anyway, yeah, I think Robin's in the S tier. All right, Nika, the Warrior of Liberation. I think this has got to go up here with Luffy as like just some of the most interesting stuff we've seen so far, and I'm interested to see where it goes because I frankly don't know at this point, to be honest. But well, obviously, we get a lot of stuff from the past that that is the Gum Gum Fruit's awakened power. So yeah, I think Nika has one of the most compelling stories, especially with his tie to the forgotten century. Nojiko. I think Nojiko's very interesting. We just haven't seen her in forever. I'm gonna put her with Makino. Nojiko is Nami's sister, of course, and like I said, we just haven't seen her in a long time, and she hasn't had a ton to do. But I think her story is about as compelling as Makino's. Like we know where, we know where they stand, but I don't know. I would need more from them. Okay. Noland, this is part of Jaya before he gets to Skypiea. I think Nolan's story is pretty compelling. I would put him in the A tier around Iceberg, I think. He's definitely more interesting than Khalifa. I'd put him right here. I think Nolan is pretty interesting just because he found the city of gold and then went to tell the king about it. And then the king was like, all right, man. And he gets back, and it turns out that the city of gold was shot into the sky, into Skypiea. And so Nolan is labeled a liar for the rest of his life, and he's killed because of it. And for generations, he's known as Nolan the liar, and he was right. He didn't lie. He was right the entire time. So I think it's a pretty compelling story, pretty tragic. So yeah. All right, Oars. I like Oars. I think he's funny, but it's just like a way to nerf Luffy for a little bit and like give them a powerful, powerful thing to fight. I don't think I can go higher than the B tier for Oars. He's more interesting than Foxy. Probably more interesting than Kuro. I'd put him. I'll put him just above Little Oars Jr. Actually, I think Little Oars Jr. is more compelling than regular Oars. Now, Oars, like I said, he's brought to life by Gecko Moria and all, but Little Oars' sacrifice at Marineford is more compelling to me than Oars at Thriller Bark. So, Oden, S tier. And the reason Oden is S tier is because Oden's high up for me, just below. I'm trying to decide if I want him above Akainu and Kuzan. No, but I'll put him above the Five Elders. Oden is so interesting to me because he is one of the only person that I know of who sailed under both Gold Roger and Whitebeard. Not to mention the fact that he went head to head with Kaido and cut him. Also, he tried to do what was best for Wano and ended up dying for it. He sat in the boiling water for an hour and then Orochi just killed him anyway. I think Odin is one of the most important. He's one of the most important characters, but he's also hyper compelling to me because we've just seen all the things like he's gone head to head with Gold Roger and Whitebeard. He sailed on both of their crews. I think Odin is incredibly important. I think he's S tier. All right, this is one of the priests. Where'd I put the rest of these idiots? I think is a little more interesting than the other ones. He does have the big dog. I just read this chapter in the manga, actually. He's got the big dog. He fights Zoro. His ordeal is the ordeal of iron. Do I think he's A tier? I'll put him with Gonfor. No, I can't put him above Sanji's brother. I don't know. His ordeal's cool, but we don't get a ton of his backstory, to be honest, now that I'm thinking about it. Wouldn't put him above the Vegapunks. Honestly, I'll put him above Kuro, below Bastille. Cool thing, but I just don't find it terribly compelling because we don't get a lot of information about it, and I'm not really that interested in learning more about it, to be honest. Okay, Orlumbus. I remember this guy's name, but I can't place him. He's in Dressrosa. Yes, okay. He's part of the Straw Hat Fleet now after Dressrosa. I don't remember a ton about Orlumbus. He's cool, but I mean, he's not terribly memorable. Not for me anyway. I'd put him. He's gonna go B tier. I'll put him just above the goons from Blackbeard. Like I said, I don't know. All right, Orochi is also an S tier character, compelling wise. I don't like him, but he is compelling. Now, I don't think he's S tier. I'm going to put him A tier because he's essentially used by Kaido as a puppet. He's definitely going to go below the samurai, but I'll put him above Hachi. Orochi obviously ends up killing Odin. We get all the backstory with what's her name? Higurasashi to just fill out Orochi more. I mean, he's a cartoonish villain. We get the stuff with him and Hiyori where, his favorite courtesan turns out to be Hiyori, Odin's daughter. Yeah, I mean, he's just a tyrannical emperor. Like, I don't know. He can turn into is it a snake? He's not a dragon, I don't think. Yeah, I mean, he's secondary to Kaido. Obviously, Kaido's the big bad, but I mean, Orochi's fairly compelling just from what he did to Wano, and how he's able to manipulate the people of Wano. But I don't think he's more interesting than Hiyori. I don't know. I had to take it apart and dry it. We'll see if it's fine or not. I mean, at least I just ordered a new keyboard, so if it's not, whatever. But I hope so. But I can't plug it in yet. Okay, I'm rethinking Orochi. He's not more compelling than Riku because he's not even the main big bad. Yeah, Orochi's fallen for me. I don't even think he's in the A tier. I'll put him top of the B tier, but the more I think about Orochi, the lower he falls because he does evil things, but he's not the main big bad. Like without Kaido, Orochi's nothing. So he's getting demoted for that. All right, Otohime is very important to the Fishman Island. She's way more important than the rest of them, in my opinion, because she's one of the only. Well, she is the first fish woman. I don't know how you say fish woman who wants to bring in like wants to connect with the outside world. She tries and is shot by Horty. Because of that, I think she's very compelling. The fact that she wants to make peace with the humans. Um, but where would I put her? She's certainly more compelling than Khalifa, but not as compelling as Buggy, I don't think. Oven. This is one of Big Mom's Goober's kids, I guess you'd say. I don't really remember what all he does besides burn people, but let's see if there's something I missed. Charlotte Oven. Yeah, I mean, he's got a cool power. Like, I don't know. I know he plays like a pretty big role in Whole Cake, but I just don't remember him that well. Like, I know that he is there and he's obviously important with the Big Mom Pirates. So I'll put him A tier, but where to put him? Honestly, bottom of A tier. I think Laboon's more compelling than him. Like, I understand he's a major antagonist in Whole Cake, but he's not that memorable to me, so that knocks him on compelling. Honestly, I'm gonna put him lower. I'm just looking at all these other people that I'm like, I remember them better, and so I find them more compelling. I'll put him above Mr. Three. All right, Pagaya. Pagaya, is that how you say it? I think so. He's gonna go with not Kami, his daughter, whose name is escaping me at the moment. Conus. Where is Conus? I'll put him behind Conus. I think he's pretty interesting. Like I said, I am reading through Skypiea right now, so maybe that's why I think he's a little more interesting and remember him better. But yeah, I'd put him there. All right, page one. Page one to me is C tier. Nah, I mean that's too harsh. Page one, where do I put him? All right, I think he's more interesting than Dillinger. I think he's more interesting than Miss Val. No, I don't. I think page one goes there. Like, unless I mean, I know he's there for a while and like obviously important in Wano, but I just don't really find him that compelling to be honest. So he's gonna stay there. All right, let's see what's up with Panda Man. I don't remember this guy. Okay, this is only in the manga, and he's just like a meme, so we're gonna skip Panda Man. Papagu, I'll put him with Kami, but below. Actually, I think Baby Five's. No, I'm gonna drop him. Actually, I'll put him. No, yeah, he's fallen. I'll put him or right behind the rest of them. I don't know, not terribly memorable. Cool character, but I don't find him super compelling. All right, Patty, I find this guy pretty compelling, but not in the A tier. He's early. We see him very early in Baratier. I think he's probably right behind Miss Merry Christmas. I like him a lot, but again, they don't give us a ton with him and his story. Paulie. Okay, Paulie's in Water 7. He's working alongside the rest of these, or the CP9 agents who are undercover. I'm going to put him below Iceberg. Obviously, he's working with them. He's very important, and I think he's less compelling than Iceberg, but more compelling than Jin. Pearl. Okay, Pearl is part of the Don Creek Pirates. I mean, I don't think Pearl is A tier. I think this is kind of a meme fight. I mean, he is pretty strong, but I don't find him that compelling, to be honest. Like, he's just like super strong and like indestructible almost. So I think he's less compelling than Gitatsu, a little more compelling than Gaimon, but that's about it. I don't enjoy Pearl. Pedro. I think for compelling, I think Pedro's S tier. And the reason I do is because he takes Carrot under his wing. Not only does he do that, he sacrifices himself, and we get the great line. I'm blanking on what it actually like 100% is, but it's something along the lines of like you'll know when it's your time. I think Gold Roger told it to him. Yes. So Pedro wanted to go with Gold Roger, but Roger told him that he would have his time to shine someday. And he gets that time by saving the Straw Hats from one of the Big Mom pirates, who I'm blanking on their name. The guy who turns into candy. Um, I'll know him when I see him. I think he's very compelling just because we get the backstory and we see him give his heroic sacrifice. I find him very compelling, but I don't find him more compelling than Kuma. So I'm going to put him at the bottom of the S tier as far as compelling goes. Okay, Peeply Lulu. I don't remember this guy. Is this the guy that always has steak on his face? No. He's always got the hair sticking up. Yeah. He does help them in Water 7. I'm going to put him. I don't remember him terribly well, but I like him better than Page 1, but not as much as Miss Valentine. I'm going to put him in the B tier there. Peckums. Peckums is part of the Big Mom Pirates? Yes, he's part of the Big Mom Pirates, but he's also obviously a mink. So he is on Zoe. I like Peckums. He was one of Pedro's crew members. I missed that. He helps the crew. Obviously, I think Peckham's is pretty good. I'm gonna put him. Nah, I think he's A tier. I think he's probably more compelling than Gone. No, I think he's not as compelling as Gone for. More compelling than Sanji's brothers. Pell, I love Pell. Pell is one of my favorite characters, and I think he is gonna be. I can't put him as tier. I think he has the potential to get to S tier with some of the new things we're seeing, but I can't currently put him there. Obviously, with everything he does in Alabasta, protecting Vivi and protecting Vivi, what his sacrifice at the end of the battle where we think he's dead, but he comes back. I think he's more compelling than Judge, more compelling than Hachi, but I don't think he's more compelling than all of the samurai. So I'm gonna put Pell there. I think Pell has room to grow, but as of now, I'm gonna put him in the A tier right there. Perona. Okay, Perona's in Thriller Bark with Moria and Hogback, but I like Perona quite a bit. I don't think she's A tier. And I'm trying to decide where I want to put her. I think Perona is probably around Caesar for me. I don't think she's quite as compelling as Caesar, but I think she's more compelling than Mocha. Obviously, we see that Perona is now living in Mihawk's castle. I think she'll come up again later. Prospero. So, yeah, I'm going to put her there. Prospero. This is the guy who kills. Where'd he go? Oh God, I lost him. Prospero. He kills Pedro. He's part of the Big Mom Pirates. I think he's like her second in command, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, he's not D tier. Okay, Prospero is very interesting to me. I love his voice lines, to be honest. You know, not lickety likely. Um, but I don't think I can put him higher than A tier. I don't think he's more compelling than any of our three here from Wano or King Riku or Kureha, to be fair. I'm going to put him below Otohime, above Khalifa, as far as compelling goes. Pika. All right, Pika obviously turns into the big. His devil fruit allows him to turn into the gigantic island on Dressrosa. He's all right. I'd put him. He has the funny voice, which everyone makes fun of. I don't find that compelling, but it is funny. I'd put him like above Orlumbus in the B tier. I mean, Pika's fine. I think it's a funny character, but I don't know how interesting it really is. All right, Porsche. Porsche is part of the Revolutionary Army. No, she's part of the Foxy Pirates. I don't know why I thought she was part of the Revolutionary Army. Yeah, I mean, I like Foxy, but let's be honest, not terribly compelling. I would probably put her. I think she's probably less compelling than Page One, more compelling than Dellinger. Pound. This is not the head baker at Whole Cake, but oh, he's the ex-husband. Yes. Right, and you find him in the forest and he's buried. I put him about where his kids are, to be honest. I think he's less compelling than Chiffon and Lily. Is that her name? Lola. Not as compelling. Honestly, not as compelling as any of the revolutionaries or Fugaro. I think he's more compelling than Kuro. Actually, no, I don't. He's more compelling than Foxy. I'll give him that. All right, Praline, Fishman Island. I forget who Praline is exactly, though, but she is definitely on Fishman Island. No, she is also part of the Big Mom Pirates. She works against the Big Mom Pirates. Yes. Okay, I remember this now. She's married to Aladdin. Where did I put Aladdin? I think she's B tier. I would probably put her with the rain. I feel like I'm blanking on big stuff that she did, but I can't remember it. So to me, that makes it less compelling. Um, I don't think she's C tier. You know what? I'll just put her with Aladdin, but above because she did leave her family to go against the Big Mom Pirates. It is super windy. Good lord. Prince Gruss. He's part of the Navy, but I cannot for the life of me remember him. Oh, no, I do remember this guy. He's new. Yeah, I like him. I'm interested to see what they do with him. I'm gonna put him in the honestly bottom of the A tier. I think he has a lot of room to grow. Well, that feels a little high. I think we're gonna get more from him. I'm gonna put him around the revolutionaries. Cool idea. I'm compelled to a certain extent, but I need to see more. Pudding. Okay, pudding is. I'm gonna put pudding in the A tier. I think she's more compelling than Khalifa. Obviously, she's supposed to marry Sanji. She's not as well. No, I don't think she's as compelling as Prospero. Pudding's supposed to marry Sanji. I find the whole like heel turn. Well, not heel turn, but I guess it is kind of a heel turn because we think she's nice. Turns out she's not. She has the third eye on her forehead. Sanji thinks it's beautiful, and her like change to help the Straw Hats, like the double or triple agent, I guess you'd call it, would be pretty good. Pythagoras is going to go with the rest of the Vegapunks. About right there. I think the other three are more compelling than him so far, but Queen. All right, Queen's in the S tier. Easily. Where did they put in? Where did Queen go? Queen's in the S tier. His fight with Sanji is incredible. Obviously, we get all the cool stuff with him dancing in Onigashima. Oh, he went right back down. Okay, good. Okay, Queen is S tier, but I don't. I'm gonna put him at the bottom. I don't think he's more compelling than Pedro or Kuma, but I do like Queen a lot. Um, where did I put King? No, you know what? I'm gonna put him below. I don't think he's more compelling than these characters. I get that he's a cyborg and he's obsessed with Jerma, which is cool, but I don't know. I just don't find him more compelling than Pedro, to be honest, or any of these characters. I don't think he's as compelling as King because King is like being hunted by the world government for being the race that he is. So I don't know. I'm gonna put King there. Raizo is gonna go with the rest of the samurai below Cat Viper. Yeah, I'm gonna put him right there below Cat Viper and Dogstorm. I like Raizo. The fact that he's been hiding and they were looking for him on Zoe, but they wouldn't give him up, and then he finally comes out and they reveal. I think that's cool. Rocky is on Skypiea. I was hoping for more from Rocky, to be honest. Like, I can't, in good conscience, put her higher than. Honestly, I'd put her above Foxy. Probably put her above Pound, but I don't think she's more compelling than Kuro. Like, I wanted more from her, but we just didn't get it. So, I'm gonna put her with Kuro. All right, Dark King Rayleigh to me is an S tier. He served like he was the first mate to the King of the Pirates. That's incredibly powerful. He had trained Luffy in the 2 years they were off. I don't think he's as compelling as Nika or Garp or Blackbeard, not Bon Clay, or the two admirals or Odin for that matter. I think he's more compelling though than the five elders, just on what we've seen. Because obviously Rayleigh, Dark King Rayleigh, he's super powerful. Like I said, he served with King of the Pirates. His importance cannot be understated to me. All right, Rebecca. I like Rebecca as a character. I think she's interesting, but the most interesting thing about her is her dad, Kiros. And so I get that she's taking up the mantle and wants to be a gladiator, but I can't put her higher in the C tier, to be honest. I wish Rebecca was higher, but the most interesting thing about her is her relationship to another character. It's not anything that she did necessarily. So I'm going to put her in the C tier. I think Reiju is in the A tier. I think she's above the samurai? That's kind of the question. No. I think she's in between Pell and Hachi. Reiju obviously takes Sanji under her wing, kind of, literally, and helps him out. She's definitely the sibling who is the warmest to Sanji. I find that interesting going against Judge. I think she's more interesting than Judge. So I'm gonna put Reiju in the A tier behind Pell. Yeah, behind Pell, but before Hachi. Richie. I don't remember this guy. That's the only problem with One Piece is there's so many characters that I just can't remember every one of them. But I am reading through the manga right now, so I think that's gonna help me remember some of these characters a little better. Oh, it's Moji's pet lion. Okay, we're gonna put him with Moji then. Where is Moji? Yeah, we'll put him there. Rika. That name is ringing bells, but maybe it's because it's so close to Nika. Oh, yes. She brings Zoro. I think she brings Zoro the rice balls or onigiri, but like she's better than Absalom. Absalom. I'm demoting him. Bottom of the C tier, not terribly memorable, but whatever. Okay, Lucci, obviously an S tier character, but I don't think he's more compelling than Queen. I don't know. He is still hunting Robin. Okay, no, I'm backtracking that a little bit. Okay, I think he's more compelling than Kuma and Marco, but not as compelling as Kobe at the moment. Now, Lucci obviously is most powerful agent of CP9. Now he's with CP0 and he's on Egghead. He has the potential to go higher. He's obviously very compelling just because he is hunting Robin, but I don't know that we've gotten any of Lucci's backstory. Yeah, okay, I'm gonna leave him there. That looks good. Rocks. This is the captain of the Rocks Pirates. I think he's new, so I'm not gonna mention him. I think he's like even past Egghead, so I'm not gonna mention him. I'm gonna leave him off the list. Rockstar. Where do we see him? I think this is the guy from the red-haired pirates that goes to meet. He like takes Whitebeard the message from Shanks. So I don't know, not terribly memorable. I honestly put him below Rebecca. Yeah, he feels right in the C tier. Like maybe he'll come into play later, but I haven't seen him. All right, Corazon. I think he's just as compelling as Doflamingo. More compelling than Law. Obviously, we learn why Law does a lot of the stuff he does because of Corazon. So we get the cool thing where he's been going against his brother. So yeah, I think Corazon is incredibly compelling. Maybe not as much as Law because we know how his story ends, and it was very good. But you don't have to demote him. That backstory does hit hard. But I don't think in good. I would put him above Arlong, below Nami, as far as compelling goes. All right, this is one of the celestial dragons. Is this the guy who flips though? If he flips, he's gonna get up. But nah, no redeeming qualities for these wet wipes. They're just out here, absolutely having slaves and just being general menaces to society. This is Ace's mother. Rogue is Ace's mom. Um, I find her to be compelling, but not higher than the B tier. Obviously, she like held her baby in forever to keep the government off the scent of Gold Rogers' children. But we don't get a lot about her, I don't think, which sucks because it feels like her only purpose in the story is to get Ace there. Maybe I'm forgetting. I'm gonna put her below the Blackbeard Pirates, but let me make sure I didn't miss anything. Yeah, I mean, very little is known. She does give Ace to Garp, and that is interesting, but we just don't get a lot from Rogue, so I'm going to leave her there. Okay, Raikyogu, I don't remember how to say his name. He is the newest admiral. Newest admiral, we see him, he turns into a tree. I don't know, man. Like, cool power, but we haven't really seen a ton from him, and I'm not that interested in his story unless they like give us a cool backstory for him. So I'm gonna put him pretty low. I think he's better than Porsche. Like, I'll put him below Mary. Like, I don't know. I just don't. We're not getting a lot from him, so I'm sure he'll come into play later. But as of right now, we haven't got a lot. I'm not terribly compelled to put him higher. All right, Rugaboshi is gonna go with his brothers, right about there. I mean, yeah, he is what he is. Ryuma is the zombie samurai that Zoro fights and beats. He's from Wano. He's important to Wano's culture. So I find that compelling, and I'm gonna put him below I'll put him below Orochi just because we don't get a lot about him, but we know that his sword is very important to the people of Wano, and Hiyori ends up trading Zoro. The Shusui. The Shusui is Ryuma's sword that Zoro obviously um obviously gets, and that is super important for the land of Wano. So Hiyori ends up trading him the Shusui. Zoro ends up trading the Shusui for the sword that he gets, which is I'm blanking on the name, but it's Odin's sword, Enma. So Zoro trades the Shusui for Enma. I think Ryuma's pretty compelling, but it's like everything's already happened with him, and his legacy is living on through Shusui. But I don't know. That's about where I put him. Ryosune, that is the dragon that um the dragon that I'm forgetting his name. Conjuro draws, I think. It looks like that. Yeah, I mean, they draw him to reach Zunisha. It's like a funny bit, but like, I don't know, not a whole lot. All right, here we've got all the. They're not pacifistas, but they're like the new inventions from Vegapunk. I'm gonna put them with the Vegapunks, honestly, below them. I find them interesting just because they're like people we know, obviously, but um, they're super strong. Seraphim, that's what they're called. These are the Seraphims. They're kind of new, so I won't go into them too much. I'm interested to see if they come up again again. I assume they will, but I don't think they're any more compelling than the Vegapunks. And they're all kind of the same. We have Jinbei, Kuma, Mihawk, and then Boa. All right, Sabo is high A tier, perhaps S tier. I'm gonna put him in the S tier, below Ace. I like Sabo. He's Luffy's other brother. I like his backstory that he left the rich neighborhood to kind of hang out with Ace and Luffy. He ends up getting, well, they think he's killed. He's rescued by Dragon. Now he's the leader of the Revolutionary Army. He's got the flame fruit. The stuff he's doing, I don't think I can. No, I think he's more interesting than Ace at this point. Yeah, I like Sabo. I think he's compelling. I'm putting him there. Sadi. This is Thriller Bark. She looks like a Thriller Bark character. No, she's the chief guard at Impel Down. I'm gonna put her with Magellan. She's like interesting to a point, but I don't know. I don't remember a ton about her. She's not as interesting as Enel or Bonnie or Beppo or Cobra. Yeah, no, she's fallen. I don't remember a ton about her, to be honest. Yeah, about right there. I think would be good for Sadi. I mean, I don't know. I just don't remember a ton about her, so. Sai, what is up with this guy? Oh, no, I do remember this guy. He and Baby Five get together. Yeah, I like Sai. We'll put him with Baby Five. How about that? Put him above Little Wars. San Juan. I'm blanking on some of these names now. To raise this up. Oh, oh, he's a giant. Teach freeze him. I think he's going to be fairly important moving forward, but from what we've seen, I'm going to put him with the rest of Blackbeard's goons. Yeah, I'm going to put him right here. I think, of course, they're going to come into much more importance later, but now we have our beloved Prince Sanji. Sanji is an S tier character as far as compelling goes. I think he is less compelling than Robin, more compelling than Doflamingo. Obviously, we get Sanji's backstory to Baratier, which we think is the entire story, but it is not. We learn all the stuff that went on with Jeremy Double Six and that he was outcast by his family, but now his powers are awakening. Obviously, he's the cook, been with us for a long time. Sanji's great, S tier as far as compelling goes. Not a whole lot more to say. Sasuke. I don't remember this guy. What are the Beast Pirates? Okay. All right. Well, he's part of the Beast Pirates, but I don't remember him, so I'll put him I'll put him above page 1. Satori. This is another one of Inaru or Enel, whatever you want to call him. His priests. He has the ordeal of balls or spheres, I think they actually call it. We get introduced to Mantra through him, which is pretty compelling, but I just don't really care about his backstory, to be honest. So I'm gonna knock him for that. Just that's kind of the issue with a lot of his priests is that we don't really get their backstory unless I'm forgetting. I'll put him behind page 1. Cool character, but again, like, how much are we getting as far as backstory? Because that is where this is really gonna go up. I don't remember a ton of his backstory, to be honest. Obviously, we're introduced to observation Haki through Mantra with him, but yeah, I don't know. Saturn, okay, he's one of the 5 elders. He's going in the S tier just because I think we've seen the most from him recently, and I won't say anything else, but obviously the 5 elders are compelling, so we're putting them there. So, okay, he's going with Olivia, but above her. This is Robin's friend who teaches her to always smile and helps her escape from Ohara when the buster call comes. I like Saul. He gives the nice line that, no one's meant to be in this world alone. Scarlet is Rebecca's mom. I do know that, but she's also the princess? Yes. Yes, she's the first daughter of the royal family. She was killed by Diamante, which is why Kyros has to kill her. I like Scarlet. I think she is much more compelling than her daughter, which sucks for Rebecca, but is what it is. I think she has to go with Diamante. Because Kyros is more compelling because he's getting revenge for what Diamante did to Scarlet. But I don't think she can go higher than that. So that's where she's going. Sengoku. I'm going to put him at the top of the A tier. I don't know how much more we're going to get from Sengoku, but obviously everything we got in Marineford and his relationship with Garp and the rest of the Navy is compelling. Senor Pink. Senor Pink is S tier as far as compelling goes because we think this is just some meme villain that, he can swim underwater and he wears the baby outfit. And, everybody thinks that's funny. We get the incredibly sad backstory that he's wearing this for his wife who's lost her memory. And his fight with Frankie is very good. So Senor Pink to me, well, I actually put him with Frankie. I'll put him with Frankie. No, I'm going to move him up. I like Senor Pink a lot. I think he's very compelling. Sentomaru. Okay, Sentomaru is going to go. We've seen him, and so we're seeing him a lot lately, so I don't want to say anything else. I'm going to put him above the Vegapunks. I think he and the Vegapunks, as well as the Seraphims, have the potential to go higher, but right now I'm going to put him in the B tier. Shaka, one of the Vegapunks. Put him there. Won't say anything else. Shaki. Shaki is in Sabaody. She is the barkeep at the bar they're going to meet up. She's more. Yeah, I put her behind Rogue, above Chinzhou. Shanks, S tier. Shanks is S tier, above Nika, behind Luffy. I want to know so much more about Shanks. Shanks is the character I'm most interested in because I want to know more. I want to see what he's up to, what he's doing. I want to see him fight Mihawk. Shanks, to me, is Shanks is my favorite non-straw hat, and we have no information on him really. Like, I mean, we have some, but I want to know more. How important he is to the story. We should be. I think we're gonna get more from Shanks. Cheeky. This may be new, but I don't think so. I think he's just in a movie. He's also the first prisoner to escape Impelled Down. Okay, I don't know a ton about him, so I'm gonna leave him off because I haven't seen the movie. But he is the first person to escape from Impelled Down, which is cool. Shinobu is gonna go with the rest of the samurai. I'm gonna put her though above Kiku, below Kawamatsu. Shirahoshi. Okay, I'm tempted to put Shirahoshi with her brothers, but I think Shirahoshi's, well, no. I'm going to put her above Neptune. Obviously, we get the stuff at the Reverie where she is being trying to the Celestial Dragons are trying to put her into slavery, but yeah, I find her growth to be compelling, but I'm wondering what else we're going to get from Shirahoshi. She has the ability to go higher, but right now that's where she's going to go. Shiryu is going to go at the top of Blackbeard's goons. He was the jailer at Impel Down, I think is what they refer to him as. He's like super powerful. Yes, he's the head jailer, but he's like insane because he just loves to kill people. We've got some stuff with him recently that I won't ruin. I think all of the Blackbeard pirates will be higher by the end of the show. I think right now that's where I'm at with them. Showed you. Oh, he's part of Nolan. Yeah, I thought so. Okay, I'm gonna put him with Nolan then, with Cricket and the rest of them if I can find them. Where is Cricket? Cricket. There they are. Put him with his brother and Cricket. Charlotte. Shryla? This is Arlong's sister. Yes, she is the half sister of Arlong. She's a fortune teller. Not remembering a ton else about her from Fishman Island, but I do find her to be fairly compelling, mainly based on her relationship to Arlong, and I know she is important in Fishman Island, so I'm gonna put her above Monet. Yep, right there, right in a smack dab between Perona and Mocha. Crocodile. I think Crocodile's an S tier character. Yeah. First warlord we encounter for the most part, I guess Mihawk, but first one who gets a whole arc dedicated to him as the main big bad, taking over Alabasta. Obviously, he's still around, so I'm interested to see where Crocodile goes from here. But I mean, obviously, all the stuff he did to Alabasta and everything, very, very compelling. Smiley is the monster created by Caesar, so I'm gonna put him honestly behind Monet. Cool monster, but you know, is what it is. Smoker, S tier. I'm gonna put him above Crocodile, above Senior Pink, Above Queen, Pedro, yes. Marco, yes. I think he's more compelling than Lucci, not as compelling as Kobe right now. I like Smoker a lot. He's definitely going to be around, but he does dog walk Luffy and Sanji at Logtown, which is cool. I like his sense of justice to where he's like, do what you think is right. Kashigi. Yeah, I'm gonna put him up there. Smoothie. Okay, Smoothie is like maniacally evil. She's just like juicing people to death, like squeezing them, just killing them. I'm gonna put her at the bottom of the A tier. Smoothie's all right. She definitely is like a bit of a meme, but also incredibly powerful. So, Sniper King, banger song from Sniper Island, far away. I'm gonna put Sniper King where he belongs at the top of the S tier. He's not gonna go to the top of the S tier, but I do like Sniper King a lot. Obviously, this is I don't know why people keep saying him and Usopp are the same person. They're clearly not. I'll put him at the bottom of the S tier. I like Sniper King. Sora, this is Sanji's mom. I think she's more compelling than Judge. I'm gonna put her above Reiju. She obviously kind of births. Well, obviously she births Sanji, but she also births his love for cooking by eating his terrible food, even though, or by eating the food he made, even though it's terrible. But she loves her son and wants him to be happy. So, okay, Spottum, is that his name? Spottum. I know he's like the big bad of Impel, not Impel Down, in his lobby, but he's definitely a major antagonist. And he's now a member of CP0. All right, I don't know. He's like the weakest link to me. Like, he suffers from Orochi syndrome, in my opinion, where the most interesting thing about him is his relationship to Lucci, where Orochi's the most interesting thing about him is his relationship to Kaido. So I would put him, honestly, I'm just going to put him with Orochi. Like, fairly interesting, but I don't know. He's buoyed by the people he's around more. Speed, she's part of the Beast Pirates. She's about as interesting as Rebecca to me, maybe less, more than Rockstar. That's all I have to say about Speed. Squad, I know this name, but Maelstrom Spider Pirates. Yes, they participated in Marineford. He is played by Akainu. I don't know, man. Squad's gonna go above the Fishman because he is a Fishman. Stary. This is the kid that Sabo's parents adopt, I believe. Yes, and we're getting more from him recently, especially in the Reverie, but this kid's kind of a wet wipe. Not as compelling as Morgan. I'll put him below Hody Jones. Streisand. This is the cook for Whole Cake Island. I think he's more interesting than Oven, but about right there. Cool character, but not a ton going on. Stussy. Okay. We're getting a lot from her lately, so I don't want to go too much into it. I like her a lot. I'll put her below Carrot, above Dot's Bones. Again, potential to go higher, but right now, that's where we're at with her. Sugar, part of the Don Quixote family. She loves eating grapes. Is the one that Usopp scares with the painting? Yeah, I mean she gets punked by a painting, so that's not terribly. She's better than Dellinger or Porsche. Not, I don't think she's more compelling than Satori though. All right, Sukiyaki is from Wano. I like this guy. I think he's probably better than Smoothie. I'll put him with Kagura. That feels good for him. The Sunny. We're gonna put the Sunny up here with the Mary. No, Sunny's gonna go at the bottom of the S tier. I like the Thousand Sunny quite a bit. I think the ship is cool. All the features on it are awesome, but it doesn't have as much character to me as the Going Merry did. And that's not a huge knock on the Sunny. It's just the Going Merry was super important, and not that the Sunny is not, but we haven't got a ton. We haven't got a lot of character from the Sunny. So Sarime, I know he's the big squid. Yes, he was enslaved by the new Fishman pirates. He can go with Horty. Tama, I love Tama. I think Tama is very important. Her devil fruit power that's escaping me, also important. I'm gonna put her behind Momonosuke. She gives Luffy the last bit of her rice that she got for her birthday, and she never gets to eat. And she gives it to Luffy and then drinks the poison water, which kind of forces Luffy to act. Obviously, she made friends with Ace when he came through, so that bonds her to Luffy. She's part of the Kurozomi family. Which is part of Orochi's family, but I like Tama. I think she's very interesting. I'm going to put her A tier below Momo and above Hyoguro. All right, I'm going to go to the bathroom, feed the cats, and come back, and we'll finish this off. All right, I'm going to finish this off, and I'm going to call it a day because I got to mess with my keyboard. So, okay, T-Bone. Oh, this is the dude who cuts the ships in Water 7. Okay. Where do I think T-Bone goes? I want to put him above, below Bastille. Tashigi, I like Tashigi. I think she's in the A tier. I don't think she's as compelling as Smoker. I think if she turned out to be Zoro's long lost friend, that would put her higher up. But I like Tashigi. I'm gonna put her though. I'm gonna put her below. No, I don't think she's above them. Like, yeah, I think she's below Pell but above Sora. Again, Tashigi has room to move, and I think she will, but we'll see. Toko is going to go with Tama. Actually, maybe above Tama. Toko is incredibly sad to me because we found out what her dad did against Orochi. And I don't know, like the fact that she had to eat one of the bad devil fruits and and now she just can't help but smile and laugh all the time, even though she's like her entire world has been destroyed by Orochi. It's incredibly sad. So I forget who her dad is though. All right, she had a smile fruit. That's what it's called. She's obviously with Hiyori as kind of her attendant. Yeah, Toko's very sad to me, and I hope she's doing very well in Wano now. Tom. I like Tom a lot. He is the one who taught Frankie and all them everything they know. I think he's about right there. Taught Frankie an iceberg with his wife and their daughter. Sad what happened to Tom, though. Toto, this is. I always want to say Kaku, and that's not his name. Koza. This is Koza's dad. I like him. I think I love the scene where he gives Luffy the water because Luffy helped him in the desert. The fact that he's committed to helping the people of Alabasta and digging up the oasis, even though everyone thinks it's pointless, but he continues to dig. He continues to dig, and yeah, I'm gonna put him with his son, Koza. I hope that's his dad. I'm sure it is, but let's just double check. Yep. Okay, moving right along. Treble. I don't like Treble. I think he's annoying. He's just constantly running around, slobbering all over himself, talking about Doflamingo. Uh, he is strong, so that's going to get him in the B tier at least. Honestly, I'm just going to put him. No. I don't find Treble that compelling now that I'm thinking about it. I'll put him above King Bomb, below Kawina. I don't know that there's a lot to Treble. I know he's been there for a while, but eh. Suru, this is the Marine, old lady Marine. I'm blank. I don't remember a ton about her either. Just so many characters. I'll put her above Saudi. Ulti. Okay, I think Ulti's more interesting than page one. She does have the cool fight where she's running around headbutting everyone. But like we don't get a lot of info about her. Unless I'm blanking. She's not as compelling as Orochi. I'll put her above Marguerite, below Igaram. This is one of the worst generation. What do they call him? They call him the monk or something. The Mad Monk. Yes. Right. He's from Sky Island. Okay, that's what I thought. I like the Mad Monk. I think it's an interesting character, interesting idea. But where would I put the Mad Monk? I think he's right about Oars. Not as compelling as Oars, but more compelling than Hercules. All right, this guy's new. Usopp, the sharpshooter. Okay. Usopp has a lot of interesting stuff happen to him earlier. Obviously, we get the stuff with Kuro. We get the fight with Luffy. We get the God Usopp stuff, which is funny, but I'm not getting a ton of progression from Usopp, I don't think. I'm going to put him at the bottom of the. I feel shortchanging him. It feels like I'm shortchanging him, putting him here. I'm going to put him right about where Frankie is. Both of these characters are suffering for me because I don't see the progression with them. So that's where Usopp's going. Yuta. Is this? Yes, this is Shanks' adopted daughter. I'm interested to learn more, but she suffers from the Rebecca problem to where I'm interested to learn more, but only because she's so closely related to Shanks. So she's going to go there. Nizujuro, obviously one of the five elders, going to go with the rest of the five elders. We don't know what they're up to. Von Auger is going to go with the rest of the Blackbeard goons. Vanderdecken, I'm putting him with Hody. I mean, honestly, below. He's whatever. Vasco shot. I remember this guy. Right, he's part of the Blackbeard Pirates, so he's going to go with the Blackbeard Pirates. Where? There. Honestly, Katarina's done more than Vasco has from what I can remember. Vegapunk, obviously very important. I'm going to put him above his little, like, detachments of himself. We've heard about Vegapunk for so long, from all the way back at Punk Hazard. I think he's going to come into play even more now. I'm going to put him yeah, I'm gonna put him below this little run from Wano. I like Vegapunk. I think his, like, all the stuff we've gotten from him and just his inventions over the years have been good, and I think he's only gonna go higher up the list. Vergo. This is the dude who always has steak on his face. He's fighting. Is that Punk Hazard? Yeah, I think it is. He's part of the Don Quixote Pirates. Cool character, but again, he's not moving the needle for me. I'm also gonna put him right here. Okay, Violet. I like Violet. Obviously her relationship with Sanji and then turning on the Don Quixote pirates, I think is very compelling. I'm gonna put her above Diamante, but below Hawkins. Vito. This has got to be one of Beji's goons. Yes, one of Beji's goons. I'm gonna put him with Beji. Princess Vivi, S tier, easily. I wish she would have joined the Straw Hats. I know why she didn't. She's now she's in Alabasta. Some recent stuff has happened with her that I don't want to get into to avoid spoilers of some of the more recent events. I like Vivi. I think she's the most interesting. She's the most interesting person that the Straw Hats have picked up for a considerable amount of time that has not joined the crew, aside from maybe Kinemon and Momo. But the relationship Vivi has with the crew is very important, and I'm gonna put her above Crocodile. Honestly, I could go higher. I think she's right with Nami. That feels right. Watasume is gonna go with the rest of the Fishman Island ilk. Funny character. That's about it. Wanda, I want Wanda to be higher. but I think she belongs about right there. About right there. All right, who the hell is Wanze? Oh, he's the cook of CP. Okay, yeah. We'll put him. Nah, we'll put him right there. Wapple. Honestly, Wapple sucks. Like, he's got the cool devil fruit. I'm gonna put him with his goon here, Chess. But like, Wapple is definitely gonna come up again because he's got a new island he's in charge of. But I don't know. I don't love Wapple. He's no Foxy. I'll tell you that. All right, Warkery. Gonna go with the rest of the 5 elders. Weevil. I remember Weevil, but I don't remember anything about Weevil. Oh yeah, this is the guy who claims he's Whitebeard's kid. I don't believe that. So Whitebeard S tier. Super strong pirate. Obviously, we get everything from Marineford. And his incredible battle there. I think Whitebeard's got to be higher. I'm gonna put him right there. I think he's not as compelling as Garp, more compelling than Blackbeard because he's Blackbeard's captain, and the only reason Whitebeard loses to Blackbeard is because he's already incredibly weakened, and Blackbeard just shows up again at the end and takes his powers. Who's who? This is part of the Wano Goons. Fights Jinbei. He knows Rob Lucci. Let's see where I want to put him. Here feels about right. All right, Wiper. Okay, Wiper is awesome. But is he S tier? No, he's not S tier. He is A tier, though. I would honestly put Wiper above Prospero, below Odahime. I like the fact that he's fighting for Shandora and he is the long lost relative of Kagura. I think he is anyway. But I like Wiper, but that's about where he is for me. X Drake. All right. I like Drake, but I don't like him as much as Hawkins. Where did I put Hawkins? Yeah, I'm gonna put him right below Hawkins. I think Hawkins' power's cooler. I get Drake and turn into a dinosaur, but that ain't moving it for me. Yamato is. I wish Yamato would have joined the crew. Yamato's in that Vivi thing for me where I wish he would have joined the crew. I find her to be very compelling with his ties to Ace since I'm saying he is Kind of got the VV syndrome a little bit, where I wish that he would have joined the crew. I'm putting Yamato in the S tier, behind VV, above Corazon. Yasop. All right, Yasop's going with the rest of the red-haired pirates, but I'm gonna put him at the top since we have a relationship with. Actually, no, I think Rue and Beckman are a little more interesting than Yasop. Obviously, Yasop's Usopp's dad. We're gonna get more with him soon, I think, but I'm gonna put him with the rest of the red-haired pirates. Yasu, this is her dad. Yes, this is Toko's dad. Okay, going with Toko for sure. Obviously, we get his sacrifice and the fact that he's his fall from grace as a daimyo, forced to eat the smile fruits, which make him and his daughter unable to do anything but smile and laugh, which sucks. Yokozuna. Okay, Yokozuna. Okay, this was Tom's before his execution, so we're gonna put him with Tom. I remember this frog now that we're talking about it. Where is Tom? God bless, there's so many characters. Am I blind? Where is Tom? There. Okay. Yonji, I think Yonji is the most interesting of Sanji's brothers just because they're kind of the closest in. Like, I think they're the. Well, I guess they're not the closest in age because they're all a year apart or something. But I like Yonji. I think he and Sanji have the best back and forth. Actually, no, I think Ichiji's better. Niji's the one that I'm kind of lukewarm about. York, obviously going with the rest of the Vegapunks, but some stuff happens I won't get into. Yosaku. Oh, this is Zoro's other homie. Where's Johnny? I'll put him with Johnny. Johnny. Where is he? God, there's so many characters. I'm losing them. I cannot find Johnny anywhere. I'm giving up. He's gonna go below Patty. Zala. Okay, this is Miss. What is her code name? She's with Mr. One. I don't remember her code name though. It's a double finger. That's her name. I think she's about as interesting as Mr. One, to be honest. Maybe less because we haven't seen her since then. So she's probably not as compelling as Das Bones, but I mean, let's see. No, actually, she's pretty low on this list now that I'm looking at it. I'll put her above Foxy. How about that? We'll give her something. Zeph, my man, Zeph. Zeph for me is going top of the A tier. Now, I can't quite put him in the S tier, but I like Zeph a lot. Obviously, him taking in Sanji and doing everything he did, running the Baratier, their relationship, the fact that he and Sanji share the same dream is compelling, all that stuff. But everything I find compelling about Zeph has already happened. I don't know that we're going to get more Zeph moving forward, but we'll see. Zoro. I love Zoro. He's one of my favorite Straw Hats. I'm going to put him with Sanji, but below Sanji. The reason I'm putting him below Sanji is because Sanji's backstory is much more fleshed out and tragic than Zoro's. Obviously, the stuff with Kuina is sad, but that's about it. Like, we're not getting a whole lot of depth with Zoro, which I don't know that we will get, but I like Zoro. I think he's badass, so he's going in the S tier. The power increase we're getting from Zoro is compelling to me. I want to see how strong he can really get. So, yeah, we're going to put Zoro in the S tier. Last, we got Zunisha. We will put Zunisha with Karu and Laboon, but above them. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is your complete One Piece tier list. 350, not quite. About 346 different characters spanning arcs from the very beginning until very recently. Obviously, we left out the most recent arc after Egghead, but this is what we got. So this is your S tier. Let me zoom in. Actually, no, this is fine. All right. So here's your S tier. Here's your A tier. Here's your B tier. Packed B tier. The C tier. And lastly, the D tier. The garbage. The worst of the worst. Characters I never want to see again. But if you did enjoy this video, I would appreciate it if you would like and subscribe, especially since my keyboard is covered in water now, which is annoying. So yeah, that was not fun, but we got the tier list done. So if you did enjoy the video, please like and subscribe, and don't forget to tune in live next Tuesday for my next tier list. I think next Tuesday we're gonna do the Marvel movies. That's what we're gonna do. MCU ranked next week. Actually, that's another long one. We're going to do the Batman movies. I changed my mind. We're going to do Batman next week. So that's what is going to be going on. So once again, I hope you all have a beautiful time, and I will see you all in the next video.